The day Daniel left for war felt strangely quiet. Not the kind of quiet you expect before something big. More like the world itself was holding its breath. The train station was crowded. Families everywhere. People hugging, crying, whispering last words they hoped would not be the last. Daniel stood in his uniform near the edge of the platform, tall, young, trying very hard to look fearless. Across from him stood Emma, his fiancée. Her fingers were wrapped tightly around his hands as if letting go might somehow make him disappear. "You'll write to me." It wasn't really a question. Daniel smiled, the kind of smile people give when they want to be brave for someone else. Every chance I get, Emma studied his face carefully, as if she were trying to memorize every detail. "You promise." "I promise." The train whistle cut through the air, sharp, loud, final. People started moving. Soldiers climbed aboard. Emma stepped closer. Her voice, suddenly, very small. "Come back to me." Daniel leaned forward and pressed a gentle kiss against her forehead. "I will." Then he turned and boarded the train. Emma stood there long after it disappeared down the tracks, watching the empty rails, listening to the silence it left behind. The first letter arrived 2 weeks later. Emma recognized his handwriting immediately. Her hands trembled while opening it. Just a single page, simple words, but they meant everything. "I'm safe. I miss you. Tell the town I'll be back soon." Emma read it 3 times that night, then folded it carefully and placed it inside a small wooden box beside her bed. Soon more letters arrived. Not often. War makes time unpredictable. Sometimes weeks passed, sometimes longer. But every letter carried the same quiet promise. "I'm coming home." Emma kept every one of them. She read them late at night when the house was quiet, when the world slowed down, when she missed him the most. The letters made him feel close, almost like he was still there. Then one day the letters stopped. At first Emma didn't worry. Mail was slow during war. Everyone knew that, but weeks passed. Then another month, still nothing. People in town began whispering. Neighbors spoke softly when she walked by, their eyes full of sympathy, the kind of sympathy people show when they believe the worst has already happened. Emma ignored them. Every morning, she woke up and told herself the same thing. Daniel is alive. Her mother tried to talk to her one evening. They sat near the fireplace while rain tapped against the windows. Sometimes soldiers don't come home. Emma stared at the flames quietly, then shook her head. "You don't understand." "What don't I understand?" Emma looked down at the ring on her finger, the silver band Daniel had slipped onto her hand one summer evening by the lake. "I would know." Her mother frowned slightly. "Know what?" Emma placed her hand gently over her chest. "If he was gone." Far away from home, Daniel was still alive, but the world had changed. His unit had been caught in an ambush near the border. Gunfire everywhere, smoke, chaos. Orders shouted through the noise, then silence. When the fighting ended, Daniel and several others were captured, prisoners, taken far beyond enemy lines. The camp was hidden deep in the mountains, cold, gray, endless, days blurred together. Work, sleep, cold nights, thin meals. The guards spoke a language he barely understood. But every night, Daniel closed his eyes and thought of Emma, her laugh, the way she tilted her head when she listened to someone, the way she squeezed his hands at the train station. Sometimes the memory felt so real, he could almost hear her voice. You promise?" And he always answered in the quiet darkness, "I promise." Back home, Emma waited. Seasons slowly changed. Winter passed. Spring came and went. Summer faded into autumn. Still she believed. Still she waited. Friends tried to help her move on. Some said it gently. Others said it more directly. "You're young. You deserve a life." Emma only smiled politely. One afternoon, her friend Lily sat beside her at the small bookstore where Emma worked. Lily watched her carefully for a moment. What if he isn't coming back? Emma looked out the window. The town square was calm. Children running, people talking, life continuing. A long silence passed. Then Emma spoke softly. "I still feel him." Lily frowned. "What do you mean?" Emma touched her chest, right above her heart. "Right here." Lily didn't know what to say. Emma smiled faintly. "He's still fighting." Years passed. Eventually the war ended. Soldiers returned home. The town held celebrations. Families reunited. Tears, laughter, relief. But Daniel never came back. Official reports arrived months later. Missing in action. Later changed to presumed dead. The town accepted it. Everyone except Emma. She never removed her ring. Never packed away his letters. Every year on the day he left, she visited the old train station. She stood on the same platform, the same spot where they said goodbye, and whispered quietly into the wind, "I'm still here." Far away, long after the war had ended, a remote prison camp was finally discovered. A convoy arrived. Doctors, soldiers, officials. Among the prisoners was a man thin from years of hardship, older than his age, but alive. They asked his name. "Daniel Carter." The officer looked at him with surprise. "You've been missing for years." Daniel nodded slowly. "I know." The officer continued writing notes. "Is there anyone waiting for you back home?" Daniel didn't hesitate. "Yes." Months later, a quiet afternoon settled over the town. Emma was working at the bookstore, organizing a stack of books near the window. The doorbell chimed softly. She looked up. A man stood in the doorway, older, worn, his uniform long gone, but his eyes. Those eyes were the same. For a moment, the world stopped moving. Emma slowly stood, her heart pounding so loudly she could hear it. "I knew it." Daniel blinked in disbelief. "You knew." Emma walked toward him slowly, each step careful, as if she were afraid the moment might disappear. "I told everyone." Daniel swallowed hard. "They said I was gone." Emma stopped in front of him. Tears filled her eyes. "You promised." Daniel pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly, like someone who had spent years afraid this moment might never come. "I almost didn't make it." Emma shook her head gently. "But you did." Later that evening, they walked back to the train station. The same platform, the same tracks, the same sky, stretching endlessly above them. Emma looked at him. "You know what people told me all these years?" Daniel glanced at her. "What?" Emma smiled softly. "They said I was foolish for believing." Daniel squeezed her hand. "Were you?" Emma shook her head slowly. "No." She looked out across the empty rails, then back at him. Love just knew something the world didn't. And after all those years, the waiting was finally over.